Conversations on the radio. If you want the latest, you can find it on the show. Conversations on radio. Conversations on radio. Conversations on radio. Conversations on radio.
Unruly student, like when you saw the officer slam thing,
Yes.
have you ever had an unruly student where you ever had to remove somebody for their cell phone or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
what are the steps and procedures, or what's the SOPs there?
So first of all, when it comes to the video and everything that showed, I always try and split it into two things, because the thing I always think of that they don't show is what happened up to that point, and that's where I put myself in that situation, where I think, would I be the type of teacher that would have allowed that to even happen in the first place, or would I have been able to
more proactive,
right, exactly, handle it, do what I need to do so I don't have to call security. I've never had to have an officer come into my classroom because it was so out of control. But yeah, there's definitely steps you take. The thing I always try and do, I think it starts from the beginning of the school year. You got to build a rapport with the kids. If they respect you and they know you're there to benefit them and help them and be there for them, that stuff's not going to happen. Now, that's not always the case, but I feel like you can really cut down on that as far as throughout the school year and not have these big type of issues. But yeah, definitely, I've had kids, especially at my last school, just act out of control in PE class, not want to follow any type of instructions. But I think it starts from the top. How does administration handle it? Do they support the teachers?
Are they backing you? Yeah.
Exactly.
Like the differences in behavior between a kid that might come from a well-to-do home and a kid that's maybe from a lower income home. Do you kind of see those differences, or the entitlement or respect for authority there? Or do you think it's more kid to kid, home to home kind of thing?
It's more kid to kid, home to home. Of course, you do see some differences in terms of, I guess, through socioeconomic status, the differences in the type of behaviors, or the differences in the way that they respond to people.
Okay.
Not so much that one is either, I guess, in a better way than another.
Okay.
But the way that they respond, like one that comes from a, I guess you would say, a more well-to-do home, challenges people a lot more. Now,
so where their parents might tell them, don't just believe everything you say, or
right. Where those they might be more sarcastic, in what they're saying. Where then you have someone in, I guess, a student that'll be, I guess, lower socioeconomic, who they have a different way of challenging you. They might cuss you out.
Right. So you get challenged either way. You either get cussed out, or they don't believe you.
In the end, you still, and I like what he said, you still recognize them as kids, because we're professionals and we are trained to be able to recognize that there are differences, and that a lot of times that one that is cursing you out, a lot of times you could stop and say to them, take them to the side and like, okay, so what's going on with this?
Right, because maybe there's something behind them doing all that acting out. Maybe they need some attention, or there's something going on at home.
Exactly.
Like the young lady who got slammed, she was like, I think her parents had just died, or her grandmother just died, and she was.
That's not true.
Well, I thought something just happened. I thought, wasn't she?
No, everybody's legit.
Wasn't she an orphan or something?
Allegedly. Nope. Everything's good.
Her mother apparently.
Everything's good.
So the mother didn't die.
Mom and grandmother were at the.
So everybody made up.
So wait, but was that her adopted parents, or was that her regular parents?
Her mom and grandmother were standing next to her.
Paternal, like her
when they.
But they said she was going through some kind of family issues, though. So unless
I just made that up. Unless it's just like a media.
I think some people probably just made that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sympathy, was it
of the classroom here?
Yes, very.
Yes.
You don't got to be scared, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Let it out right now.
Like, yeah, you good.
He told me say yeah.
Right.
It's like, no. Okay. So from a student point of view, what did you think of the video?
First thought that I instantly had was I was actually angered by it, because yes, in times where you do feel like you need to actually physically remove a child, that did not require that excess force to push that child backwards out of her seat, then pushed her forward. That was actually doing too much at that moment and at that time, and there could have been other steps to prevent that from actually occurring. So
we asked you the right question, huh?
Right.
She came out the show eating.
No, I'm sure what she's thinking about, if it was me, like, it'd be a problem.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you,
Hold on, have you ever experienced anything like that?
Yeah, you seen that on a regular basis or what?
Oh no, I've never seen that
Never?
before.
Teaching background real quick.
You ever fought anybody at school?
Or have they
Okay.
fought you? Yeah.
I've been teaching for 7 years. I taught for 2 years in an alternative school, so it was a detention facility for boys.
Ooh.
And I taught for 5 years in PG County.
Now, when you
All
say
high school.
like a detention center, so these are like the worst of the worst. These are like one
These
step
are
from
children
Scared
who
Straight.
have gotten caught up in the judicial system.
Okay, so these juvies.
Children who are in the judicial system.
Okay.
Oh, you
She-
said something
she-
wrong.
I
There
did
you
that.
go. She was like, that's not it.
Okay.
Don't be
So,
trying
like,
to
what are, like, the
Don't be
common-
trying to- yeah, don't be trying
What
to
would be like the
stereotype.
common, things that these kids are doing to get
It would
themselves?
range from a drug charge to a murder.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
real.
All right then.
That's real.
So you got murderers.
There were a few.
There were a few. And does that change your approach in the classroom, like, or do you just feel like my kids are my
Still,
kids?
they're my kids.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So you know self-defense, because if they...
No,
No,
stop
once you
it.
build relationships with kids,
Uh-huh.
a lot of the external behaviors that they exhibit in places where they feel unsafe no longer exist.
So is it like
So-
smaller classroom sizes so they can get more personal attention?
Well, they were grouped, so there was like a limit on the number of kids on a unit. So
Okay.
you would teach a specific unit. So they were small, but where I am now, I'm a special ed teacher. So I do.
So you got the
high
whole
incidence-
gamut
okay.
here.
So I do high incidence disabilities, which is learning disabilities, emotionally disturbed, other health impairment, which includes ADHD. So, the hyper kids who can't control their emotions. But where I am now, I have 35 kids in my class.
Oh, that's a big load.
So
That is...
That made
it
me
just
tired
depends
just
on the
listening to that.
setting.
Oh,
So
man.
That was an alternative placement, so there was a limit to the number of kids that could be there.
It's like 12 people in the studio. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm tired.
And they're grown.
And they...
Radio. If you want the latest, you can find it on the show. Conversations on
If you missed anything, make sure you go to WLLSPD.podbean.com.